and see what happens.
We will record.
Yeah, we will record and see what happens, because you never know. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates and Forrest Gump.
That is life. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It's also
According
this podcast.
That is true.
You do never know what you're going to get.
I also don't know what we're going to get, and I'm in it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's usually a mystery. The only thing for sure is beer.
Of the week.
Which is here.
Exactly. But welcome.
Welcome back for another episode of the Bros, Brews, and the Basement podcast. We got that unlocked, though.
Yeah.
That's unlocked.
I try to do that every time.
I'm getting that for show.
Exactly. I missed it last time.
Yeah, it was slightly this time. It's okay, though.
It was bad. And by bad, I mean just not what we usually do.
Yeah. It's okay, though.
But anyway, welcome back. Episode 11.
That's them double ones.
Exactly. Thank you for listening if you're a returning listener. If you're a new listener, thank you for checking us out. We hope you stay, but if you don't, we appreciate the one listen.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
We are available on all the listening platforms, I believe.
That is correct.
Also, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Bros, Brews in the Basement, and we are Basement Universe on YouTube.
That is correct. All the links will be in the description in case, you can't just listen and hear that and be like, oh my, type it in real quick and be like, oh my God, I got this.
Exactly.
Right? Because I can't.
And for some reason, if you don't want to hear us, babble on for a while, on the Basement Universe YouTube is Music Reacts with Corey and our friend Steve.
Yep.
I make appearances as well as our friend Eric.
Yes, sir.
And others as well.
Yep.
So we offer up multiple things if you're not interested in podcasts or just specifically our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're definitely more a music-oriented person, then you should check those things out. We also post some gaming content, and I have a couple movie reviews on there just for fun.
Right.
But yeah. But anyways, this is the Bros, Brews in the Basement podcast where we do our beer drinking.
Beer drinking.
Yeah, we do our beer of the week, and we talk about a whole bunch of random different things. We don't know what we're going to talk about today, but the most important thing that we start off with every episode is our beer of the week.
Beer of the week.
Which Dillon has provided us once again, as he always does.
Yes. Going into the distributor, being the time of year that it is, it's getting a little colder up here. It was 40 degrees Halloween night, which actually for October is pretty cold for where we're at.
Yeah. We've had some warmer years more recently in this time of
year.
Year.
But, today felt actually pretty warm. So it's just that time of year where we're,
fluctuating.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do an IPA. I wanted to get like the winter beers as they start to come out since the Oktoberfests are going away now. But I saw this. It's from the 21st Amendment Brewery. I believe it's just called Cold IPA. It seems like their slogan is brew free or die. And one of the reasons I got it, if you want to take a look, is I know Corey really enjoys good art.
I always do like the artwork.
I very much appreciated the art on this.
I mean, it's definitely fitting for the name, right? For the brewing company. So, I mean, this seems perfect.
Yeah, so obviously I had to look it up right before we recorded.
We hit the record button,
but the 21st Amendment repealed prohibition, and they named their brewery after it. They're based in California, I believe in San Francisco.
This feels like a historic episode.
Yeah.
I've got to play some patriotic music behind this.
And the artwork's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you got Abe Lincoln dropping some hops, right, I guess? Into,
Kim thought it was weed, and then we thought a little bit. We were like, no, it's hops,
no,
but
it
easily could be weed.
It's whatever you want it to be, Use your
and
imagination.
you have the other three presidents, looks like they're getting wiped out by some snow, and whoever that is.
Yeah, like, is it supposed to be like Mount Rushmore, I guess?
So it is Mount Rushmore, but it's
Abe Lincoln's
also
alive.
There's it looks like there's some snowboarding in here because He's got
he's got goggles on. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
so he has goggles on. So this is snow, which, I mean, if we're on the drug reference, snow and weed, I mean, hello.
Yeah, it's just
But these are definitely hops that kind of look like pot a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe they like to snowboard. The About Me on their website was a little long, so I skipped it. And all I know is 21st Amendment's repealed prohibition, and they're based in California. This artwork's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give it a shot.
Yeah, and I assume, because you said before, cold IPA just for this time of the year. Ironically enough, for Halloween, I did do, I bought, the Montauk cold day IPA, which I had never had. So I thought it was really funny, though, that, you ended up buying a cold day IPA, but for, a different company.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, sweet, because I actually really did like the cold day IPA from Montauk.
As it starts to get colder, we'll probably get into the winter lagers and stuff like that. But, here we are, another IPA.
Nonetheless, let's get right into it here.
Right into it. See how the cans are. Similar.
Yeah, it's just zoomed in.
Pretty cool cans, though.
I do really like it, though. Yeah, I like that they chose to basically make Abe the centerpiece. I mean, he's basically the focal point of the artwork, so that just seems appropriate.
Yeah, and you have the goggles here.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, as of this recording, we don't have episode 10 out. Oh, God.
I was worried about me.
Wow. Dude, as soon as I opened the top, it just, flooded out. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was a huge distraction. I'm going to attempt to say this again for everybody, but, yeah. So
mine started to flood out, so.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. We didn't shake it or anything, so I can't imagine why, but. Anyways, as of right now, episode 10 we recorded last month in the very beginning, and we didn't get a chance to post it because me and Dillon literally got sick
the next day. Corey gave me some super bug.
Yep. That's what happens when you work in healthcare, people, unfortunately.
I passed it on to my wife.
Yeah, so it was just not a good time all around. I was the Dinkelberg of their vacation. For those of you who don't know, that's a Fairly Odd Parents reference. What is happening?
I'm not sure why this,
You seen it here first,
attacked.
Folks. Yeah, we were being attacked by the 21st Amendment.
It's actually Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. So, yeah, we didn't... I've been struggling to get around to editing it, so I only just started doing it now. So the hockey season's been going on for a while, but it will be posted soon, so I do apologize for that.
So what's funny about that is I had wings the day after we recorded episode 10, and the next day I had really bad indigestion and reflux, and I was like, man, something must have been crazy about that rub, because I've been trying new rubs, and it wasn't the wings.
Not the
Corey
rub.
got me sick. You said you were congested for a full week.
Yeah, pretty much after that.
I was congested for a full week, starting that Monday after we recorded. We recorded on a Thursday. And then after that week of congestion, I was then blowing my nose still for a few days after that. My wife the same, you the same. So
yeah, it lasted a lot longer than
your average
cold.
I've, of course, everyone's first thought now is is it COVID? Oh my God! But it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And I've had regular colds since COVID came around, and they weren't like that. My regular colds are usually a couple days, and I feel pretty good. But this was this was a process.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just really bad timing in general because literally the next day I decided to get my flu shot because my flu shot is mandatory at work. And that absolutely just exacerbated the illness and made everything so much worse for me. Luckily, you didn't seem to have it so bad in our text messages.
You definitely had it worse than me.
Yeah.
I was congested.
It progressed, it seemed a lot faster.
I was congested, but the congestion wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
You definitely had it a lot worse. Definitely.
It's very unfortunate. But yes, that's why as of right now we don't have episode 10 out. It's, and if you did listen and or watch episode 10, you're like, oh my God, they're so far behind. That is why. You've got the explanation in episode 11.
We got sick.
Yeah. So just had to throw that out there for y'all.
Little
Yeah, it's taking a while, right?
Yeah, well, whatever happened, I don't know if it's how the cans were packaged or maybe the beer really got shaken around from my car to my house to now your house. So that's possible. But man.
Yeah, right. I was not expecting that.
Good thing
Volcano
you did it first, so I was able to prepare.
I had to be the stooge. The poor sap.
That's a That 70s Show reference. I don't know if you intentionally did that.
It was totally unintentional.
It is a That 70s Show reference, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to enjoy anymore with
you're allowed.
With Danny Masterson being an awful person.
Yeah.
But
I think you're still allowed to enjoy the show. I don't think you can let one person ruin the show, right?
The show is still very good.
Yeah, like how could you can't let that ruin Red Foreman for you.
Well, no.
Right? So
Red Foreman would have put his foot up his ass. So.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Nice.
Slow and steady. But anyway, thanks for watching.
That feels like a heavy foam.
Yeah, at this point, I think we should just try it out of the can. Do you have anything left in the can?
A little bit.
All right, so you want to just try it out of the can so
Yeah.
we're not sitting here pouring all day?
Forever waiting,
Yeah.
I mean, we could always cut out whatever, but
Cheers.
Cheers to all of you. Imagine if it was just like terrible. Like, oh my God, fucking projectile vomit right here on camera.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
No, it's totally fine. Honestly, it's funny because like when I just like licked the foam off my finger, I feel like it felt so much heavier than the actual taste of the beer.
So it tastes exactly like the New England IPA that we had at the brewery that we were just at.
Yeah, that's usually like our staple for every episode, by the way. We go to Six Harbors Brewery in Huntington before we come back, and then we start doing the podcast. So, that's like our little ritual, if you will.
They opened the Still House. We couldn't try it today because it doesn't open until 4 o'clock, and we go at like 1.
Yeah, we like to go early so that we beat all the, the rush. We get to just enjoy the area to ourselves and, chit-chat. But yeah, it's open Thursday through Sunday from 4 till... Did he actually say close time? I don't think so, right?
Just opens at 4.
Yeah. Open till whenever you want, apparently.
4 until you leave.
Yeah, until you leave.
Okay.
All right, so I think we can...
Try it from the mug.
Try it from the mug now.
Sweet foam on the stash. It's good. I do like it.
It's got a hint of persimmon. I'm just kidding. That's an Office reference again. It's a symphony. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. Damn, I feel like
this
I need...
is San Leandro, California.
I feel like I need to take a few more sips to get a...
I believe. So I think this is one of the better cans and artwork that we've seen.
Yeah.
Pretty creative. I'm not sure I've seen like a Mount Rushmore dupe.
Yeah, I mean, like Voodoo Ranger,
Just
I
in
feel
general,
like you know what you're going to get.
So
it's...
Right. But I would say a lot of people like to do skulls, skeletons, shit like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Right? We're not trying to curse here.
That's
or maybe
fine.
we are.
It
I
don't
know.
matter.
I
don't understand how YouTube flags cursing and stuff like that, because they literally flagged us for cursing too much or whatever, and then it was like
Just kidding.
And then the next day it was just like not even an issue. So I don't know.
Yeah. But I would say this is probably the most unique artwork we've come into.
Yeah, I would agree.
And what do you think of the beer?
I mean, I definitely like it. It's hard for me to, I feel like, place it
Yeah.
right now. I'm struggling to place a number. Like I want to, but
So
I'm also your textbook overthinker. So
how I feel is, because I'm struggling with the number 2, right? But I like the beer. I would buy this again to drink it again. It's good. It's just a good beer.
yeah,
Right? Like I don't.
I'm trying to like.
There's
think of,
there's nothing about it where it's like, whoa, that's amazing. But
Yep.
also there's not anything about it where it's like, I'm thinking like this is a good beer.
yeah, like I'm trying to even think of like something to say to like describe like the taste or like something about it that like might stand out or like differentiate it from
Yeah.
anything else.
I
But
was looking to see if they
I'm
had
kind of struggling
anything
to
written
find
about it,
something. Yeah.
but they just have the Surgeon General warning on here.
Kim, don't drink this.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Brewed and canned by them and where they're from. There's not much written as far as what we should expect for a taste.
Yeah, what was the alcohol percentage? Like 6 or something like that?
6.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Our cold IPA is like a crystal clear bluebird day with the anticipation of epic powder and long runs. With a lighter body and fruity New World dry hopping, it delivers bright hop aromas and a bold, clean finish that will leave you craving more. More broomball, more mushing, more curling, more snowball. More snowball fights you'll remember forever. Put you on that, what does that say? Put on that puffer coat, throw some cans in the snow, and grab your winter by the hops. So that's, and what's funny is it's, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it does feel like it would be perfect, though, for the cold. Because I feel like if I had a couple of these, it would warm me up, you know, like being out there.
Yeah.
I guess, like, you know, if I didn't have the picture to kind of, like, plant the thought in my head.
Also,
already,
that paragraph kind of like sets the tone.
Yeah. I
or the
feel like
mood.
it is very hoppy, though.
It is.
Yeah. So, like, that is the visual that you get there is kind of legitimate because
So-
it definitely has that strong hop taste to
It is an IPA.
Yeah.
But there's no bitterness to it. It's pretty light. It's also, like you said, 6.5% or whatever, 6%, 6.5%. So it's not an overly heavy beer.
Yeah.
To me, this is like a 7.5.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a 7 is not a bad beer. 7 is a good beer.
Yeah. I think, like, for us, bad beer would be, like, below
The
6,
UFOs.
right? Like anything below
What did we
6.
give the UFOs? A whole bunch of 4s?
It was like I don't even remember.
And
It was
honestly,
like a 4
they
or
probably
something.
should have been worse than
It
that.
should, yeah, probably. But yeah,
Um,
I just remember comparing it to like if this was a movie, like the IMDb rating. I was like, anything like
Yeah.
below a 6 on IMDb that's like not a horror movie is like not great.
Right.
Um,
To me, it's a 7. It's a solid 7. A good beer. Would drink it again. Like the artwork. You know, and this is, like you said, to me, this is a beer, you know, because where we live, there's, you know, you're not snowboarding too much on Long Island.
you're definitely not. I don't know where you are if you are.
But
Maybe you're tripping.
if we had a fire pit going and, you know, maybe it's a little chilly at night
Perfect.
with a fire pit and these beers, that's exactly what we're looking for. So, to me, it's a 7.
Yeah, I mean, even before when I said I was like struggling to find a rating, in my mind I was already thinking a 7.
Yeah.
But I wanted to take some more, you know, tastes of it and see if like my opinion would change. Is it worse than that? Is it better than that? And I think after, having like, 4 or 5 sips, it's a 7, I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah.
And a seven is a great
It's
rating.
solid.
Remember, we gave that Voodoo Ranger Citrus a 7.
And it was like our favorite one.
And it's like a 9.5.
Yeah.
But still, this is a really good beer. I'm interested in seeing if they have other stuff. I'm sure they have other stuff. But the beer distributor, this was all they had of theirs.
Okay.
But-
From that brewing company
Right.
specifically. Okay.
But
Yeah, I am curious. It makes you wonder, like, what other kind of beers do they have? And
Yeah.
are they all presidential related, considering it's,
yeah, I
right,
mean,
like the 21st Amendment brewing company?
Yeah, it's almost like it's weird to be getting this kind of beer over here this time of year because I feel like, well, it is November at this point,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
I feel like we're a month away from these beers, from like the winter beers, and this is a winter beer.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
But either way,
maybe they just assumed, like, New York would be cold. And generally,
it was.
they're not
It was
wrong,
last
yeah.
week.
But the
Today
thing is,
it's nice.
with global warming, it's been fluctuating
Yeah,
over the
that's true.
years.
That's true. Our winter has definitely been pushed back a month now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, they say, Christmas in California, warm or whatever. But, like, we've had a couple of years recently where it's been, like, relatively warm. And it's kind of a weird
Yeah.
feeling if you're a New Yorker.
There was one
You're
Christmas.
accustomed to
It was 60 degrees, and we were at my parents', and my dad is always like, "It's Christmas, make a fire." So I was like, "Okay, it's 63 degrees outside. You want me to make a fire?" And he
Just
was like,
make a fire.
He's like, "Yeah, make a fire." Made a fire. Built it up how I always build a fire when I make it, because you want to make it strong at the beginning. So that's what I'm used to doing. 30 minutes into making the fire, my dad was like, "Don't put any more wood on that." We opened the windows
Yeah.
because it's 65
It's
degrees
60
Christmas
yeah,
Day.
That's warm.
Whereas
dude.
when we were kids,
we had a ton of snow.
you would get snow Christmas Day.
We had a ton of snow. Yeah,
We would
like-
always have a snowy Christmas.
Yeah.
But now it's like our snow doesn't come until middle of January, the earliest.
And all I wanted to do back then too was be outside. Like
Of
all
course.
I just wanted to go out.
Who
with my
cares
friends
about
and-
frostbite?
Yeah, and play.
Go
Lit-
have a snowball fight according to this beer.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go out there and go up and like go sledding like on the fucking hills up at Whitman or whatever.
I would go to the park around
Which-
the block from my house,
which-
Coster Park.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Costa, right? Yeah.
But that hill, people have sledded that hill for so long that it's so beat up now.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, it is. This is a good beer for this time of year.
Yep.
I would love to sit
7.
outside, have a fire pit, and have some of these.
Yeah, definitely. So
It's definitely heavier than the Montauk one though that I had.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't had the Montauk.
It's way more hoppy.
Yeah, I could see that because even Montauk's IPAs like Wave Chaser.
It feels like lighter. Like I guess just in that way maybe it's just not as hoppy, but it definitely
Yeah.
feels lighter.
We'll have to try because they came out with the double IPA version of Wave Chaser
Okay.
Montauk.
Yeah.
We'll have to try that on here on a day where I'm not driving because
Yeah, I just happened to,
Not
I
trying
was
to
on
drive with
the
that.
way to our friend's house for like a Halloween party, and I stopped at the gas station, and usually they'll have like that little walk-in like fridge area, and they had like some really like strange and obscure beers that
Yeah.
like you just wouldn't expect. So I saw that one, and I was like, oh, this seems like the only like wintry kind of or like cold kind of beer, like cold time. So I was like, let me get it, because like I don't want to buy any of these other ones that like I fucking hate, like Heineken or like
Ugh.
whatever.
Ugh.
I don't hate Heineken, but I'm just
No,
like, if you
it-
show up to a party with like
to
Heineken,
me-
I just feel like I'd get criticized
And-
like in our group of friends.
well, you certainly should, and and rightfully so. But also Heineken is the beer where it's like I show up late to a party and I want something to drink, and the only thing in the bottom of the cooler is Heineken. I will drink it then.
yeah.
In
So-
no other circumstance.
So yeah, I just
I've
like,
never spent a dime on Heineken. I never will.
Yeah, I like bought it, randomly because I just happened to find it there, and I was like, oh, it's actually really good. I pretty much drank like all of them. I bought like a 6-pack,
Yeah.
sat around the fire pit and had those, and I was
Nice.
just like, yeah, dude, I feel great. I was like, I'm warm, even though it was like 40 degrees, or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like cold. As soon as you stepped away from the fire to go
Oh,
anywhere, it
yeah.
was cold. Like if you weren't wearing
Halloween.
layers,
It was 30
cold.
something degrees.
Yeah. So one of our
Halloween night.
yeah, like one of our friends that was there, he just wore like something like this, and that was it. I don't know if he had a shirt underneath, but he was freezing.
Yeah.
It was cold. He was uncomfortable.
Halloween night was cold. It had rained the day before, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of moisture in the air. It was
Yeah.
it was a cold day.
It's not great.
But either way, 21st Amendment Brewery, cold IPA,
7s all around.
7.
Seven.
Solid.
It's a solid 7.
Thank you. We're going to continue to enjoy this.
Yes.
If we can transition to music real quickly.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
So,
I don't think we really have talked about
we-
any kind of
we
music
don't.
on here because we try to keep it
I
separate.
think by design, right?
Yeah, it is kind of like by design, but we are big music appreciators, as we've said in the beginning of the episode. We talked about, doing the Music React on
Yeah.
this channel and how we've both been a part of it, obviously.
So music, and I'm going to cover two vastly different genres here.
Sweet.
Which
Are you
is
going
pretty
rap
sweet.
and metal? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
if you were like, yeah, we're doing K-pop, I'd be like,
No.
all right. Oh,
I
what
on-
the hell? Where's Dillon, Harvey?
The only
What happened?
the only K-pop I know is BTS, and I've never heard any of their music, to be fair. But I went to a show at Irving Plaza with our friends Steve and Eric. We saw Polaris, Varials,
Currents.
Currents, and this other band from Japan, and I can't remember their name. They were very good.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been to a show. It's been a long time since I've been to a show at Irving Plaza.
Yeah,
too.
dude. I can't. When Steve told me that, I was just like, oh man, I can't even remember the last show that I was at Irving Plaza. Maybe when you
When I broke my
your
nose.
Yeah, like, and
that
that's
was
a long
that
time
was
ago. That was when Issues was still a
that
band.
was an Issues show.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Woo.
the bassist front flipped into the stands and landed on my face and Steve's head.
yeah,
So
good times.
I mean,
Yeah.
I barely broke my nose.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I-
thankfully, right?
I got
So,
I had bruising here and kind of into the eyes, but I didn't get the whole
like
the whole raccoon
Yeah.
eyes, so that was good. But it was so nice to be at a
show again. Yeah,
and Irving Plaza. They don't charge $1 million for drinks like PlayStation Theater does.
well, that's good. Thank God for that. I was gonna
So,
say because
We
buying
got
drinks at any show.
we got a couple drinks and. Sorry about that. I'm trying to find the name of the band. Oh, Pale Dusk. There you are, Pale Dusk. All those bands are amazing. So Pale Dusk is from Japan. Varials is from Philadelphia. Currents, I believe, is from Connecticut. And Polaris is Australian. Man, Varials was so good. I'd never heard them before.
Me neither.
And Eric
Steve
told me
about them a
they've
little
been
bit.
through a handful of lineup changes, and their current vocalist was not in the original lineup, joined as one of their guitarists. I'm not sure if rhythm lead or bassist,
Okay.
but joined as a guitarist, and then their vocalist at the time, he ended up leaving, and now he's their vocalist. And I afterwards listened to their original stuff with the first vocalist, who was kicked out, then the stuff with the second vocalist, and now the new vocalist. And the new vocalist is probably the most talented of the three.
Yeah, like just like overall sound
Yeah.
or
Even in the recorded versions
okay.
of their songs,
Yeah, just
the current vocalist sounds the best in the recorded versions, and seeing him live, he was amazing. Currents was great, and seeing Polaris, this is my third time seeing them live, second time seeing them headline. then they put out a new album like last month, 2 months ago, something like that, and they did lose their
Guitarist.
lead guitarist
Yeah.
passed away. But they put on a great show. Live music is so good, and especially at metal shows, everyone's just there trying to have a good time. Like, even when we left, because we left with like 3 songs to go because we wanted to make sure we caught the train home.
That's the problem with shows in New York City.
Yes, you got to catch the train back to the island, which sucks. But like walking by, like I was like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry," and he was like, "No, you're good, you're good."
Yeah, that's like
it was so good. It was nice to hear live metal music, good music, and I knew of Varials, listened to Currents, and obviously listened to Polaris a lot. Pale Dusk, they were very good.
Yeah, never heard of Varials or Pale Dusk, but Steve told me that Varials is going to be at the other show that our buddy Eric had posted. The one that's like the
Paramount show.
Yeah.
I think that is the Lorna Shore Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, that was I was like trying to remember with Steve yesterday
it's
who it was.
Varials, Currents, Lorna Shore. There's another one. I think
Devil Wears Prada, I think, right?
I thought Devil was their own show, but I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Either way, like that
I could be confusing.
That Lorna Shore Christmas show is going to be heavy because Varials is not like the heaviest music you've ever heard, but they're not light by any means.
Yeah, because Steve was showing me that band Avoid. That was supposed to, like the other opening act, because they seemed, on the song he played for me was like a pop punkish kind of song, you're just like fucking grooving along, and then all of a sudden it changed over to like heavy screams, and I was just like, oh, like I didn't expect that at all from the vibe you get from 3/4 of the song,
right?
So and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, how can they be on a show with Lorna Shore and or Devil or whoever's on the show? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm like, it just doesn't fit. Like, there's some kind of like, some kind of
exactly.
Yeah. So it made sense at that point to me. Yeah, I am curious who it is though, but they were pretty great. I heard a couple of the other songs, and I'm like, okay, the other ones were way heavier than that one. But it just shows the diversity, I guess, in what they can do.
I was very happy with that show. It was a lot better than. Okay, so Lorna Shore's Christmas is Lorna Shore, Currents, Rivers of Nile, and Varials, and Entheos.
So what is the Devil show then? Because he posted.
Devil's a different show then.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's got to be the one with Avoid then.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I think that was the one that I saw like in the chat, and I'm like, okay, that's the one at the Paramount, right? Or are they both?
They're both at the Paramount.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that the Christmas show is the 23rd. I think that's a Saturday.
Oof.
That's a monster show.
Yeah.
So it was so nice to be live music with friends. Irving Plaza also has a bar around the corner called I think it's like Off the Top or On the Top or something like that at Irving. And we were walking there. We turned the corner. We saw the line. We all had to use the bathroom.
No.
So we were like, let's go to the bar. We'll get a drink and use the bathroom. We got a drink, used the bathroom. It was nice. But it's just always nice to hear live music.
Yeah.
And this morning, I wake up. I go on X, which, Twitter, but X.
It's always Twitter for us.
And
if you're our age, it's Twitter.
So I follow Pat McAfee.
Okay. Yep.
Because I like watching his show. And he posted a screenshot that Jeezy dropped a new album today. Right? And I was like, man, I didn't even know Jeezy was still rapping.
Yeah, me neither.
And
I don't think I've even heard his name.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was a planned album. Well, I mean, it was planned, but I don't know if it was known that it was going to be released or if it was a surprise release. But
surprise,
dokes. The screenshot that he shared, I listened to that song. And I was like, man, that song of the screenshot that was shared, it was so good, and I was like, all right, I got to check out this whole Jeezy album. So I really enjoy listening to new music, but I don't search out new music as much as I used to.
Yeah. I feel like that's just our
Just
stage
'cause-
of life kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, like we're
you
so
don't
busy
have
with
as
other
much
stuff.
time.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, I'll check it in the morning sometimes. Usually it's like Friday because generally that's the new releases for at least our kind of music, which is predominantly, like heavy metal or like in that realm.
But even all new music, the release
it generally, right,
is
comes out on
Fridays.
Friday. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, every now and again you'll get something like, on a Wednesday or a Thursday, but it is pretty
and those
much
are usually
Friday.
singles.
Yeah. But yeah, there's been a lot of good music that comes out. I generally will search like in the morning. Sometimes, not every Friday, but I'll look and see like, oh, like what came out today, cuz since we do the React channel, it's always like, oh, like what could we react to? What could we do? Like that's fun. Plus we're always just looking to see like, oh, did Gavin drop new stuff? did
And last week they did.
And they did. Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say if we didn't listen to it already, we would have done a react for it, but yeah, I don't know. Something about it for me, like, I really do like John's parts, and you would think, like, I'd be all about the song because it's predominantly
It's heavily John.
I think John's parts are fine. It's more like, to me, it feels like the other parts are out of place.
Okay.
So I feel like, especially Andrew's part, for me, feels just like, I don't want to say forced, because that makes it feel like, like I hate it.
Right.
But I don't know, it just feels off somehow to me. And I don't like love the Tillian chorus like I do for a lot of stuff.
So then the question is, outside of the song, is this a single leading into an album cycle?
Absolutely, which you would think it is, but
you would think so.
But
is it also just
a one-off?
Because I was thinking they released the new song before the tour started, right? Because they toured earlier this year.
Yeah.
And then this is another song. Is that their deluxe album?
I mean,
it could also be that.
It could be.
So I don't know. I'm thinking we're getting a new Dance Gavin Dance album.
Definitely
February, March of next year.
Yeah. It also could just be a. Was Headhunter a deluxe?
No.
It was just its own thing, right?
Headhunter, and whatever that other song was that was released with it. I can't remember the name.
Was it Bloodwolf?
Bloodwolf. They were like, I guess
they were just like
EP.
in between.
I think they were just two songs that were supposed to be released,
which is not unheard
together.
of for Gavin, because they had that other one that was like,
they have one-offs all the time.
They do, yeah. I was gonna say because they had "Summertime Gladness," right, which was not on an album.
Hate it.
They had before that, like earlier on.
I gotta clarify. I don't hate "Summertime Gladness." However, I am
forced down your
so
throat.
tired of hearing that played at shows.
Well, at one point it was just so overplayed.
Right.
At
It's like it's a fine song, but stop playing it at
they had,
shows. They have so much better music than "Summertime Gladness."
I think it was like after. I think it was after Instant Gratification. They had like an in-betweener, or maybe it was before. They had like Pussy Vultures,
right,
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so it was like, so this one could easily just be that, right? Like the in-betweener. They had was the Ghost of Billy Royalton, right? So that's, I mean,
yeah, that was the song that they released for
first.
the tour.
Yeah, so like
but
these
that
could
was,
both be.
I think that is strictly gonna be like not tied to anything other
yeah.
than that. Hey,
it's for Tim.
This is for Tim. We're gonna play the song, whatever.
Yeah.
This other one might lead into the beginning.
War
of
Machine,
their album
just to be,
cycle.
just so everybody's
War
tracking.
Machine.
Yeah,
See, I know. I was saying the other one because I forgot the name of the song.
Yeah, so like War Machine was the one that I was talking about that I didn't necessarily love, with where John, I like John's parts, like I said, but the parts are not.
I actually haven't listened to it since the week it came out, so I'm gonna go back and listen.
Yeah, and give it a shot.
But either way, I mean, new music is great. I just don't look for it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And also, when an artist I like comes out with a new album, I have to find time to go and listen to it.
Yeah, and time is something that we don't generally have a lot of. I mean, between
Right.
work and doing stuff at home,
When my commute was longer, I would listen to albums in the car.
Yeah,
Because
and that's where I do mine.
45, my commute then was 45 minutes. So a metal album is usually in around 45 minutes. Occasionally it's longer, but those are few and far between. So 45-minute commute, I could listen to a whole album.
Yeah.
Now my commute is 10 minutes. So I get 3 songs.
Yeah, I mean, my commute's not that far either. So but I will also I go a little earlier to work, so I can sit there and have some time in the parking lot to just do whatever.
Yeah.
So I can almost finish an album most of the time, or I'll be have my headphones on going into work and still listening, and I'll eat a short breakfast in the break room or whatever before. So the Wolf and Bear album came out recently, their first one in a while, Bloodletter. So I listened to that on Friday. I mean this past Friday, and I was texting Steve about it actually while we were at the brewery earlier to see what he thought. I was give me your favorite songs, but I'm not gonna tell you what my standouts are because I want to see without without telling you what mine are if it matches up.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. Not amazing, but there's definitely a handful of songs besides the single where I enjoyed them. So, it's I guess it depends how you chalk it up in your mind. Is it a win if if the singles plus a couple other ones are better or not?
How many songs on the album?
So it's 12, I believe, which is a pretty good amount for the genre of music we listen to. I feel like a lot of times you get 10. Yeah. So I would say it's a win, but it's a handful plus the singles, so that's 6 to 7 songs that I like out of 12. So that's half the album.
Okay, I would say that is a okay to good album.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So some of them might be just all right, maybe it has the potential to grow on me, but I haven't really given those ones as much of a listen because I just didn't feel off of a first listen that I would, keep playing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So.
Yeah, but music, it's wonderful.
It's a great thing.
But also a little time consuming at the same time.
It
you
is.
Know what I mean?
It really is, and it's hard to find the time. And Steve and I we did some reacts last night, and we were talking basically about the same thing, or I'd mentioned the same thing. Sometimes you hear a band or a song that you'll really like from an artist, and you will know that you like their stuff, but you won't take the time to go out of your way and look out for their new singles necessarily, or continue to travel down that rabbit hole of their music, even though you just found it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might initially, and then you lose it for a year or so. So that's kind of what happened last night with us listening to Intervals, and we listened to Pliny. And I was just at one point I was obsessed with these instrumental bands, and then I basically just stopped listening to them on the regular, and I was it's a breath of fresh air to basically explore that again and see what kind of sound they have now, and whether it's changed or not, what kind of guitar riffs and stuff that are implemented from their other stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could follow as much as I would like, but also sometimes I just go on to YouTube and I click the for me music list. And that music list is songs you've listened to in the last week.
I do that all the time though on YouTube Music. It'll be with your quick picks is what they call it.
Okay.
It's oh, what have you listened to in the past couple of weeks?
I don't even have YouTube Music, or I don't subscribe to YouTube TV or anything like that.
Yeah.
So even the free version of YouTube, I can click a playlist. I know exactly what it's going to play. It's all shit I've heard already. It's not going to play any new music. But it does that by design.
Yeah. Which is fine. That's what you want, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole point in a way.
Yeah, but so I'm still trying to find new music, but either way, I want to listen to that new Jeezy album because the one song I heard was pretty good. I used to love Young Jeezy. He was Young Jeezy when I listened to him.
Yeah.
Thug Motivation.
So now he's
101.
just Jeezy, huh?
I don't know how long he's been Jeezy. I believe it's been quite some time at this point.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar.
But I would say at least 10 years, probably longer.
Jeez.
But I remember when oh man, I can't remember the name of the single that he came out with that Akon was on, but yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
Akon used to be on like everything. So,
yeah, well, and that's why you don't hear him anymore because he was on everything, and now he's loaded, so he can just retire and say,
he's
"See
like,
you
yeah,
later."
whatever.
Yeah, you don't need to make music if you've made music.
Ghetto baby.
But I was thinking we could transition to sports.
I'm always down for that. I mean, we generally talk about sports, at least for one of the topics, I feel like, for the podcast, whether it's hockey or basketball or wrestling.
I was thinking we'd actually talk about hockey.
Okay, so let's do it. I mean,
mainly because New York teams are fucking awful right now, and the Rangers, 10 games in, are pretty damn good.
Are 8-2
right now.
Okay,
I'm sure by the time we release this, they're gonna suck.
Yeah, yeah, right. Imagine they just they just go on like a 10-game losing streak now.
Oh my God!
So the Rangers started off the season on pretty much like
they were 2-2.
So they were 2-2, but they started off also on like a road trip, right? Like for like an extended road trip, basically. They lost one game away, I think, so far, and they lost one game at home.
Yeah.
And then they were on a Canadian and West Coast road trip for like six games or something like that.
Those were like sweeps.
And they were all wins. Yeah, like Jonathan Quick had a shutout
in Seattle. Yeah.
In Seattle. And I think he's got accrued 2 wins at least on the road trip, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But the Rangers, I generally come in with like a grain of salt to the season. I don't want to get too high and mighty about the Rangers.
I know.
We are like 10 games into the season.
Right.
I'm not saying
so
they're going to win
early.
a Stanley Cup or anything
right
like
now,
that.
they're Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah. I'm not going to say they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but they won.
I think Boston, who was my preseason pick, I don't know if they've lost. Or maybe they lost one.
Maybe.
I think they're like 9-0-1 right
Yeah,
now.
I have to check the standings again, but I know Omar was telling me that Vegas was undefeated up until, but that was like a week ago. So, they've probably played at least 3 games since then.
The Bruins are 9-0-1. They beat the Maple Leafs last night.
Whew, boy. Yeah, the Rangers definitely have surpassed our expectations, though. Or
Golden Knights
us.
are 10-0-1.
There you go. So we might have a repeat of Vegas.
I think that's the Stanley Cup Finals, right? I said the Bruins are going to be there.
Yeah, I said Tampa, but like now that now that the season started and you see the, some things starting to form, players getting injured and whatnot. Yeah, I mean it's hard to deny that Vegas. I feel like they have to at least go to the finals for the the Western.
Let me ask you a question. Coming out of the draft, yeah. Listen, might be more than that. Coming out of the draft, there were all arguments. Do you want Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel? Now, it's not a matter of who you would pick. As of right now, whose career would you want? Connor McDavid or Jack Eichel? Now, Connor McDavid has all the accolades as the skater, the scorer, the point guy.
Yeah, like he's
all that shit.
Easily on track to be the greatest hockey player, if not one of.
Jack Eichel had all those issues with Buffalo, but he goes to Vegas and gets
wins
a cup.
a championship.
So right now, if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I think first and foremost, before I decide that, if I'm only basing it on careers, right?
Careers from the draft up.
How
to
do
this
I feel
point.
after my neck surgery? Is the real question. As Jack Eichel,
which it seems like he's doing okay.
Yeah,
So here's why I'm still going to pick Connor McDavid. Because as amazing as he is,
I mean, he could easily win at some point.
When his
right?
contract ends with Edmonton, right?
Yeah,
Oilers?
the Oilers, yeah.
When his contract ends with Edmonton,
he's going to get buku
he can
bucks.
literally go anywhere. He can go anywhere.
And make a ton of money and
go
still be
anywhere.
Yeah.
I think he'll win a cup before he's done. But I mean, man, as far as Jack Eichel goes, when you look at it, considering all the shit that happened when he was in Buffalo and how his tenure at Buffalo ended, they're a disaster.
Yeah.
Buffalo Sabres are a disaster.
Yeah.
How the tenure ended, and then he goes to Vegas and immediately wins a cup. I mean, for someone who might need validation.
Yeah, I mean, he might.
Because he might.
It's hard to say.
I mean, what he went through was pretty tough in those years, I would imagine, to get validated like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Oilers were not a great team, and obviously Connor McDavid is a humongous boost to
with him and Draisaitl scoring as much as they were at the time.
That's what I'm saying, and obviously, like, the comparison, Jack Eichel didn't make Buffalo like that. Like, it's night and day, you know what I mean?
But also, Buffalo is a consistent failure. Like, the Sabres just fall flat on their face at all times.
It feels like they're also constantly in like a rebuild. So like they have such a young team like at all times that there really is no, like leadership in my mind. Like there's no experience for like those guys.
Right. For a team that's been so bad for so long, who drafts at the top of every draft.
Yeah, like who do you turn to? Like who's the locker room guy?
But the thing is, if you have that many top picks, you should be able to get enough talent in the building.
Or trade for, exactly.
Right. Like you should have assets to trade or
their guys, Kyle Okposo. Right?
Well, don't they have Tage Thompson?
Yeah, he's like their breadwinner now, right? Like their young talent that's like come to be like a top star for them.
Right.
But like as far as experience goes, I guess, Kyle Okposo is probably like the guy.
And they're still just like
but
I would say floundering.
Yeah, but it's like you look at that though, and it's like who was he on the Islanders? He was
fine.
Number 3.
He was fine.
Number 2.
That's the thing. He was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like no one looked at the Islanders and was like, "Oh, Okposo's that guy."
Yeah, he's the guy. No, he's not.
He was good.
He's not the guy.
He was good,
but not great.
Right.
So yeah, it's like who do you turn to if you're them?
So to me, it's like I would still pick McDavid's. I would still pick McDavid's career.
I guess it depends on what you want, right? So it's like if you're looking at the overall picture, right? Like McDavid has more, right? Like he's got more potential to
because, like you said,
more money.
McDavid still has a chance to win.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if the Oilers don't figure it out,
he could still be.
He could just go. He could leave.
Exactly. He could be like any great superstar in any sport, right? Like he could just go somewhere, win a chip, and like that's it. Like Jack Eichel got lucky. Like, if we want to call it lucky, he went to Vegas.
Yeah,
after all the
it seems
confusion.
Lucky. Maybe it's not. He went to a organization that allowed him to get the surgery he wanted. Right, I think that was the main issue in Buffalo was he wanted to get a specific type of surgery.
There was a lot of questions.
Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there was.
But I believe he wanted to get a type of surgery, and the organization disagreed, and they wouldn't let him, and that's when they got at odds.
Yeah, there was a lot of like questions.
And then it was basically like, look. If you're not going to allow it, fine, then trade me so I can do what I got to do. And it just so happens you get traded to a team that wins the cup.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's like short term, you want to be Jack Eichel, you win a chip. Like if that's your
Yeah.
ultimate goal, then
To
you
me,
won.
to
But
me, you still want to be Connor McDavid, even though Eichel has a
I
cup.
feel like the sheer talent, yeah, like also is just like McDavid's way better than Eichel, like
Yes.
could ever be.
Yes,
So it's
I
like
agree.
short-term goals, you want to be Eichel, but long-term, I feel like you want to be Connor McDavid because he's been healthy. He's got so much more potential in every aspect of the game, really.
Yeah,
And outside of hockey, like he's gonna make a ton of money on endorsements and just his
exactly.
his skill.
That's why, man. But we'll see what the Rangers do.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked pretty good so far, but unfortunately, injuries always are something that plagues the players. Especially, it seems like Philip Hedl gets
Hockey
hurt.
players in general.
In hockey players in general, but especially the Rangers. Like Philip Hedl gets hurt. It seems like every season.
Yeah.
Which, I like Philip Hedl, and I think he could be, like one of our top players, but he can't stay healthy, which is the problem.
Right.
So what's the issue?
Right.
I don't know what it is, but he didn't play even in the preseason, right? Or like some games because he was unhealthy, and it's like if this guy can't stay that way,
The best ability is availability.
Yeah, it's like how can you structure your team and build chemistry if if your guys are going to be in and out of the lineup, like fluctuating constantly,
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's
It's a tough one. Like obviously Adam Fox just got hurt, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be bad. I didn't get to see Philip Hedles, unfortunately, but I mean the Rangers
I didn't see
look
that
good
either.
so far. I don't, I take it with a grain of salt because you never know what could happen, especially we're so early in the season, and once the All-Star break hits, things could easily change. People go on losing streaks, people go on winning streaks. You get hot going into the playoffs, or cold going in, and you're out of the playoffs easily by wild card slots. So I don't know, but what I do know is the Islanders not as great this year.
No, I would say poo poo.
Yeah, I mean
Not good.
I've probably mentioned it on the podcast before, but my resident at work, he's an Islanders guy. He will fully admit that they're not great. Doesn't have high expectations. Says that they have, they're going to have trouble scoring, and in a league like this today, scoring
Where it's all about scoring.
It's all about scoring. Like I feel, we were guessing what the average goals are like per game, and it's got to be at least 3 plus.
I would say it's 5.
So, I mean, if you can't score goals, that you better have the number one defense in the league. And, Sorokin's great, but is he a shutout guy every night? Is he a 1-goal guy every night? No, because the Islanders' defense is not that good.
Oh, see, this, I'm sorry to cut in. This article says Fox could be out 2 weeks to a month for a leg-on-leg collision with Sebastian Aho.
Not the Islanders, Sebastian Aho.
No. Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes, yeah. That's a rough one. That's rough.
Yeah, but honestly,
it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Fox is definitely a crucial part of the Rangers defense / offense because he can play. He's a two-way hockey player. He's equally threatening on both sides of the ice. But yeah, it's a tough loss. I think they'll be okay without him, but we'll have to wait and see because, we didn't even expect the Rangers to be, this good.
No, and they're actually playing. So 10 games in, we'll see what 30 and 40 games in brings.
Yeah.
But we'll see. On top of that, I would say the Giants and the Jets both are
Yeah, not great.
They played Sunday. It was a terrible game if you watched it.
Yeah,
If you watched the whole
I saw
game,
your
I'm sorry.
I saw your Facebook post. I think it was
Oh,
where you're
yeah.
just like people actually paid to see the
Yep,
Giants
I said
versus
people
the
actually
Jets.
People actually paid money to watch these teams play each other
Oh.
in the rain, in the cold rain.
Nah, pass, dude.
So they're kind of shit. So we'll leave them there. And the Knicks, while they're 2-3, they've had a tough start to the season.
Yeah,
Started with the Celtics.
I think they
They went 1-1 against the Cavs, home and away.
Okay, yeah, that was the I watched the game the other night, and I guess they ended up losing that one because they had won the first one.
Yeah, the one I bet on was the one that they won.
Yeah, the Knicks don't look. I feel like because I haven't watched all the games, but from what I saw, I feel like Jalen Brunson's having a hard time scoring.
Think so?
I mean, it's
I
just
haven't watched enough to
it
comment.
seems like he has to drive the lane a lot and take like contact and get shots at the foul line. I've
Yeah.
also heard a couple times they were like, oh, Jalen Brunson's opening quarter, he's like 1 for 5 or like 1 for 6. So it's like the shooting struggles happen for him early on, but
Yeah.
it seems like the defense for him is very tight.
So he's
at
at
all
20.
times.
He's at 23-4, shooting 38%.
It's not terrible. I mean, 38's not bad, but it's
Oh, I mean, considering.
but it could be better. Yeah.
Let's see. Last year he was 24-3-6, but I know R.J. Barrett missed at least one game.
Yeah, he was out last game with knee soreness. So
Right. So Barrett's been out. Julius Randle is
yeah, I don't know
a
how
toss up.
I don't really know how he's been playing. I saw he cut his hair though.
I really haven't watched much of the games. I watched the Cavs game that I bet on that they won.
When you think of the Knicks though, it's like you feel like you named like all the guys right there. Right? Like
Yeah,
all
I mean,
like the guys, like the guys that you expect.
RJ, Jalen, and Julius.
Yeah, like cuz who else is there like, Emmanuel Quickly, like I don't know, you know what I mean? I do like his, like they call him IQ.
Yeah.
Which I do really like that, but it's like
Josh Hart. I like Josh Hart. He had 11
he's a
points,
good, like,
8 rebounds, 4
I feel like
assists.
he's a good
like a grinder.
Grinder, exactly. That's what I
Right.
was gonna say. He's a great grinder player, but like he's
Mitchell
not somebody.
Robinson, 16-6. Oh no, 6-16. I'm sorry, 6 points, 16 rebounds.
That seems right though. Like
Brunson was 24-4-4.
Mitchell Robinson's just kind of, to me, like whenever I see him play, I always feel like he's
Dante DiVincenzo, one of the few white Dantes there are. 16 points, 2 rebounds, which is fine, but
I feel like DiVincenzo doesn't play defense though.
he might not.
I don't know. Like,
And
'cause I remember him being on the Bucks, and it's
IQ
kinda
is
like,
18-6-4, so that's not bad.
I remember they were talking the other night about like I'm like, I don't really know because I'm not like an analytics guy for basketball, but it was just like the plus minus or whatever, and it was just like all the Knicks players were like minus or whatever. So I'm like, that means like like the defense is trash, right?
Right.
Like I don't know about
Which is wild because Mike Thibodeau is
a defensive coach,
Right.
Right. So I don't know. He's got limited things to work with, I guess, in New York.
Oh, and the in-season tournament starts tonight.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I kept seeing like commercials for that, but like I don't know what that is really.
So I feel like they adopted it from soccer.
Okay.
Because all the international soccer leagues do it. So the English Premier League is a great example. The English Premier League itself is the top-tier league in England.
Okay.
It's 30 teams. Everybody plays 38 games. The team on top at the end wins the league. The bottom 3 teams in the league go down to the lower division. the top 3 teams from that division come up. Now, they have an in-season tournament that is, it's amongst all teams in English football, soccer.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many divisions there are, but any team in English football participates in this in-season tournament.
Okay.
So you could end up having a division, an English 2 team play a team in the Premier League, which would be like having the Knicks D League play the Celtics. Right? So the expectation is the Celtics are going to win all the time.
Yeah.
99% of the time in soccer, that top team does win. But every once in a while,
You get an upset.
the lower tier team does win. The difference is for the NBA is the in-season tournament is only amongst NBA teams.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
You
think
know,
this makes sense.
so if they compare it to like soccer, their in-season tournaments are amongst all teams in a league in that country, versus the NBA is
where
like
it's everybody.
right.
But like, what's
Where
like the goal? Like, what's the reward? I guess of
Money.
That's it though. Like,
If you win that tournament, so the English football is the Carabao Cup, right? So the top tier football teams don't focus on that because it doesn't mean a lot to them. So they'll usually trot out their B teams or their C teams, and if
To
they
play,
win,
great. You
great.
get extra money, right?
and if they don't win, then they're like, we're really focused on Champions League or the league title. And that's it. But if you're a lower level tier and you get deep into that in-season tournament, you make money. You make money you don't usually make.
Sure. So I guess I
in
get
the
that.
NBA, it's like you're taking the same 82 teams with deals with their local television companies and all that
So
shit.
potential better
So-
contract negotiations
Right.
and stuff like that.
I
yeah.
just feel like if they're going to do this in-season tournament, they should have the D League in there.
Yeah.
Or,
it just
you
feels
know-
like such a strange thing. I mean, I know that.
Like, I get why they're doing it, right? Because let's say you're the Brooklyn Nets, who are bad.
Yeah.
Through 82 games, you're not making the playoffs.
You get
You
something out
know
of the
it.
season,
But
potentially.
if the in-season tournament, you're just like, let's show up tonight. You got something to play for.
True.
I don't
I
know
guess
how
it
they're
does
doing it.
incentivize it, yeah.
I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah,
but-
you do have to see because, like, at the same time, right?
Because
on
this
the flip-
says
on the-
group stage. Like the Knicks are playing. I lost it. Knicks are playing the Bucks tonight in the group stage.
Ooh, I kind of want to watch that game now.
7:30. It's on in 40 minutes.
Yeah, because they were saying I saw an article that was saying like the Bucks are not great. I watched like the first game that they played, and Dame ended up scoring like 39, but it was people are saying it's not what they thought it was going to be. They're not as good, and that's what I thought
We'll see.
in the initial thing. But
I mean, we'll see. Oh, speaking of, I mean, we're a lot longer than we usually are.
yeah,
But if
that's
we're
all right.
on the NBA, James Harden. Do you see?
Trash.
I mean,
I hate James Harden. By the way.
Okay, well,
It's a
feelings
fucking,
aside,
feelings aside.
what do you
did
think of that
this
trade?
Man, I
The
think
Clippers, was that a 3-team deal or a 2-team deal?
no. I think it was only 2. I think it was just the Sixers and
And the
and the
Clippers?
Clippers.
Because the Sixers got like 6 players off of that.
Yeah.
So really what I want to know what you think is
No, you mean the opposite, right?
the
The
Sixers got.
Yeah, the Sixers.
Is that what I said?
You said the Clippers.
Oh,
got,
I'm
like, 6
sorry. I
players.
meant the
Yeah,
Sixers.
because I'm like, James Harden doesn't
so James
deserve the value that he gets.
James Harden said that the Sixers kept him on a leash and tried to put him in a system. And he said that he doesn't belong in a system. He is a system.
Not anymore. I don't think he is anymore. I mean, it's one of those things where
So-
it's like, I guess you could make the argument that
He's literally our age. Same month that we are born, same year. So he's 34.
I mean, he could still be great, but what you've seen of him in the past couple of years, was he on a leash in Brooklyn? Was he on a leash in Philly like that whole time? I don't think so.
And
Which
Joel
makes-
Embiid pushed back.
And it's like, so he just wasn't as good as he thinks he is, or like as you've seen him on the Rockets. I said to my resident at work the other day, the one that I talk about hockey with and just sports in general, I was like, James Harden is not the James Harden that he was on the Rockets. He's not the guy. He's
And
not the
that-
one that you build the entire franchise
And the
around.
James Harden on the Rockets was insane.
He was numbers. He was the guy. He was the triple-double machine, or like whatever he was.
Right.
He was putting up points like
And
there was no tomorrow.
And that Rockets team should have beat the Warriors.
But
If-
they didn't.
If they didn't. If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, they beat the Warriors. Whatever year that was. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Chris Paul got hurt. The Warriors won Game 6 and Game 7 and then won the title.
Yeah, like let's say 2018. I don't know. Just
Sure.
throwing out a year.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I don't think he deserves the trade value that people give him. I think he's a great player, and he's got, obviously all the stats from previous years and like history to back him up and everything like that. But I would never, if I was the GM or whatever of an organization, I would never give that much value for James Harden.
No.
I just think he falls under the category of some of the other players like Kyrie Irving and stuff like that. Obviously, I think Kyrie's way more toxic than James Harden is, just based on what I've heard and the history, But
Historically speaking.
yeah, historically speaking. But I would never give that kind of value for James Harden. I think, in the end, the Sixers kind of win the deal in a way because, you give James Harden back to Russell Westbrook, where they've been together before. They didn't get it done. What makes you think they're going to get it done now? You think that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to help him get that done? No. I'm sorry, but I don't think Kawhi's what he was in San Antonio, and I don't think Paul George was ever really that great. He was the guy in Indiana, but I don't think
since he broke his leg.
yeah, I don't think he's
different.
ever been the same, and he's never been healthy for a full year
Right.
ever since.
So
I just don't think-
here's the trade. The Clippers acquired Harden, PJ Tucker, great corner shooter.
I like PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
He plays hard. He's a grinder.
He's a grinder, and whenever you don't need a team to hit a corner 3-pointer, there's PJ Tucker just landing it. And Philip Petrusev
Yeah,
I don't know who that is, from
Yeah,
the
I don't
76ers in exchange for Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, who I always
two solid guys.
I always really like Nicholas Batum. I mean, I feel like
Marcus Morris is a good shooter too.
Yeah.
Good 3-point shooter.
Kenya Martin Jr., I'm not familiar, and Robert Covington.
Yeah, and then it was 2 picks too, I think, right?
As a part of the trade, the Clippers dealt a first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a pick swap, and cash considerations to the 76ers, while sending a pick swap and cash considerations to the Thunder. So the Thunder are involved in this somehow.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't realize because I only saw the outside of that.
Right, but I don't know that the Thunder received any players. It sounds like they're
just getting
dumped
cap, basically.
salary.
Yeah.
So if you're the Clippers at this point, with the addition of Harden, if you don't win a title, this is a bust.
And that's the thing, though, is
I never
thought the
considered them as
Clippers-
title
yeah.
contenders.
I'm trying to remember, last year, I feel like they
Like,
were a first-round exit, weren't they? So
I don't know. I just know Denver dominated everybody. That's it.
The Clippers have made the playoffs consistently, I think, for the past couple years, but they've gone through drastic changes. They went
Right.
from having the
Lob City.
Lob City. There we go. I'm so
Lob,
glad.
no, I know. Lob City.
Yeah, we went from having like Lob City where
Lob City that never got out of the second round.
Exactly. You would say that was arguably the best Clippers team that ever was in existence, and they couldn't make it out of the second round. So, like, what do you get from that? You're getting players that are older again, that are, not as good. So I just can't imagine, unless Russell Westbrook has, comes out again like he was in OKC all of a sudden and just, becomes like the best point guard that's ever been. But I just don't see it happening.
And I don't know.
I don't see it happening.
Maybe it does.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? But at the same time, it makes you think like one of those other players has to be injured or like really step down, James Harden has to – I feel like he's going to be in a system no matter what, right? Like, doesn't fit him. He's not the guy.
Right.
You think Kawhi Leonard and, like, Paul George are just going to defer completely?
No.
I don't see that.
I'm trying to find what happened with the Clippers last year.
Right? I'm just like, I can't imagine a world where that happens.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, guys. What do you think, though? Let us know down in that comment section about any and all of the things that we've said. I'm sure you will, no matter what. But I am curious. I always like to hear other people's opinions on things.
The Clippers were eliminated by the Suns in the first round of the playoffs, 4-1.
There you go. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Enough said.
I mean, it's early, but I think it's the Nuggets until it's not. And we'll see. We have to get much deeper into the season before we know.
To get like a real
Same
picture.
thing with hockey. Like
it's just too early.
the Bruins and the Knights aren't going to be unbeaten forever.
Yeah, not forever.
And the Rangers aren't going to be 8-2.
And if they do, they'll lose in the first round.
Right.
Because the Bruins had their best
Bruins
ever
were
year.
they had the
historic.
best year ever.
Last
Lost
year.
in the first round to the Panthers.
Yep, to the Panthers. Which, they did go to the finals. So, like, you can't really shit on the Panthers too much. But at the same time, historically.
You mean the Bruins. Shit on the Bruins.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
was about to say, you can't shit on the Panthers for making the finals.
Well, I think, like, in my mind, I was thinking that, like, nobody expected the Panthers to be, like, that good. So,
But
like,
still,
it's like you can't shit on them because they went to the finals, but...
No one says the best NBA team ever is 73-9 Golden State, right? Because they didn't win the finals.
Yeah.
72-10 Bulls won the finals. 73-9 Golden State lost.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That was the year the Cavaliers like came back, right?
Yeah, Draymond Green kicked someone in the nuts or something, or got too many technical fouls. I don't remember what. Yeah, see, she even has opinions.
It's because it's 5 o'clock. I thought maybe. Yeah. Sorry, my Alexa just.
I knew it. I knew what you were listening for, just in case.
I was just like, huh? What's happening?
But anyway, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else. We've like you said, we've already kind of like hit our benchmark for when we want to keep the episodes to.
Crown Jewel tomorrow.
Yeah.
A lot of championship wrestling matches. A lot of bullshit.
Watch our live stream to find out what happens.
Yeah. Watch Corey's because I don't live stream. And I believe you're working, so please don't live stream.
If I'm live streaming, it's just like I'm wiping my patient's butt while I'm like, can you see what Seth Rollins is doing right now?
Wait, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Which is a terrible personality.
We hate it. We hate it.
Hate it.
But anyways, with that being said, thank you so much for watching / listening. Sorry. And, listening.
Sean Connery.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go from there. Like, how do you go from Sean Connery to that?
I don't know. I guess you just die.
You just die. Like,
thank you for listening.
/ watching.
Yes. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Bros, Brews in the Basement.
Yep.
Basement Universe on YouTube.
Yep. We also do have other socials with that, so please check us out. But all these podcasts are posted to the Basement Universe channel, so
please give us some comments. Tell us if you like us. Tell us if you don't like us.
Yeah, we don't care either ways. We just want to hear what you think.
You know, got a thick skull here.
Yeah.
It's used to being exposed, so please listen. We appreciate it.
Yeah, subscribe if you did enjoy.
And if you didn't, that's also fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you. 21st Amendment Brewery.
Check it out, y'all.
That's it.
Bye. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching / listening. I don't know what's happening. Everything's cracking. I'm old.
We are. Good night.